This is a video about giving up on plants. This is my pathway going up, and many years ago I used to have an enormous maple tree that occupied, it was growing against my house and it stretched all the way to the gate. It was that big. The trunk was somewhere around here, too close to my house, growing into my house and into my sewer and water line. So Gonzo, Norway maple anyway, horrible tree. And but at the time, this was a very shady spot. It was the only shady spot in my yard, and I actually used to sit under the tree in the afternoon. So I planted these Fatsias. I mean, when you start a tropical garden, this is going to be on your top 5 list. You know, Musabaju, Trachycarpus fortunei, Fatsia japonica. I mean, I would even say that those are the big 3. So I planted these. They were probably about the size of these Nandina, just little things. And they have grown over the years. But what's happening is we've been getting heat waves earlier in the year. And it's when the Fatsias are pushing out new growth. And you can see how burnt, completely burnt that is. That was from this weekend, or it was, you know, quite warm. We've been in the 90s already, and this is this gets the hottest sun in the afternoon. There's just, and the heat radiates off the house. It is really extraordinarily hot, and Fatsias don't like that. You can see the burn even on the older leaves. So it's time to say goodbye. You know, things change, and sometimes plants got to go. You know, I have so many of them. I have them up there. They do get shade from the fence, and the Metapanix helps to shade them. So as you can see, they're not really damaged. I have a couple more over here, and I have another one. So I have a lot of Fatsia, so it's not a big, plus I got 2 spider webs. So how many do I have in total? 14 maybe? So anyway, it's time to say goodbye. So I'm going to remove these. There's some pretty gnarly Oregon grape behind it. I planted this Oregon grape as like a 3-inch plant just a few years ago. That's coming out too. But I do have this Trachycarpus fortunei. I want this because I want it to shade the house a bit. I do have a couple of other small trees in here that haven't done much. I put another palm in. That's a Nanotol. And so, you know, sometimes you just got to give up, even on plants you like. So I'm going to remove these and put something else in their place that can handle the sun. And it's okay, you know, it's okay to give up on your plants. You know, a lot of times people have problems when their gardens mature and they end up getting a lot of shade. So plants that were in the sun are now in the shade. And in my yard, it tends to be the opposite. So we're going to remove them. I am actually looking for any ideas. You know, obviously we want it to be like jungly. This is on a slope, somewhat dry, not horrible. I do have some irrigation in here. And so there's actually 3 Trachycarpus fortunei in here. So they're going to grow up. And we're going to start to see the house again, which is fine. But I would like to put something here that is, you know, 5 to 8 feet tall, maybe not so wide, but something that will add to the overall effect. It's okay if it's not an evergreen plant, because I don't spend time out here in the winter. So I'll tell you a couple of ideas I came up with, and you can tell me your opinion of them. You can also give me another idea. I haven't really given this a lot of thought. I've just finally made the decision that enough's enough. These got to go. When we get the real heat in summer, these are going to burn even more. So I was thinking, number one, maybe bringing in some of the Rose of Sharon, Hibiscus syriacus, maybe like a white one. Maybe I only bring in 1, maybe I bring in 3, because they do tend to grow columnar, and you can get them in like the 8-foot range. You can get ones that don't seed. I have one that I was told it said that it was a sterile version. It is totally not. So I'm a little gun shy on those, but I thought, well, that would be nice because I don't really have a lot of color over here. It's all just mainly leafy green things, other than a few plants that bloom in spring. So that was option number one. Number two, I thought maybe some of the small crepe myrtles, like the Black Magic variety with the really dark leaves, because they would appreciate the heat. You can get them where they're, kind of like in that 8-foot range. I know people from the south are probably like, those suck. They're everywhere. They're not everywhere here. So that was one option I thought of. The third one, maybe some grass, some tall grasses. So I do have some miscanthus. I have some zebra grass, which gets about 8 feet tall, gets that nice striping pattern on it. So anyway, I'd love to hear what people have to think, because I don't, when I've asked for suggestions in the past, I get some really good ones, things I've never thought of before. So, but again, this is, jungle theme. So we want something that looks kind of jungly, tropical. My front yard's more of like the Mediterranean style plants. So I want these ones to have a little more impact, but I do have to maintain my path, right? So looking forward to see what you guys have to say. And in your own garden, I challenge you to be brave and, don't keep plants just because they've been there for so long. You feel obligated to keep them. If you don't like them and they're not working, or they're just not working for you, it's okay. You can let them go. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for the suggestions.